Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad you guys are here with us at the Showbtv podcast. This is actually episode 1. So I want to say thanks to all of our supporters, everyone who's been following us so far. If you haven't already, go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Showbtv. That's SHOWB and stay tuned for more episodes of our podcast as well as other exclusive content. Now, for our first podcast, I'm really excited to have our guest. This brother has, I've known him for quite some time now, and he's been doing a lot of positive work in the community. So it was really important for us to open up our podcast with this particular guest. I've known this man myself for quite some time as well. We've come up in the same community as younger men. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my first guest to the Showbtv podcast, Mr. Jabari Quest, who is the owner of the Quest Nutrition Network. How you doing, brother?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thanks for coming on.
Man, it feels good to be here, brother.
All right.
It feels real good to be here. And, the first episode of Showbtv. So this is great. This is a great look, and happy to be here.
I appreciate you coming on. Before we even get started, I want to say congratulations and thank you on the new addition to the family. I know you just had a new son.
Yes. Had a new son, Jonah Omari. He's about 4 months right now. So, definitely been excited about that. And, it's all about the family,
Definitely.
Family growing and stuff like that. So it's been,
definitely congratulations on that, my brother.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, we want to, just talk to the Showbtv audience, tell them a little bit about you, and we're going to get into the Quest Nutrition Network, which is going to be pretty much the basis of this entire episode. Mm-hmm. But just give us a little bit about your background. Where you originally from?
Well, as you alluded to earlier, you and I have known each other for, we're talking 20 plus years. Coming up in Uniondale and stuff, and my background, of course, growing up in Hempstead, going to Uniondale School District. My family is from Haiti, so my family is hardworking people, you know what I'm saying, and raised me up to be that way, to have focus, to focus on my education, and to really go after what it is that I wanted. And those are the same values that I instill in my children, to really go after what you want, work hard, have that particular work ethic.
Right.
After high school, went to college, went to Queens College to pursue my degree in nutrition and exercise science, got the bachelor's, got the master's, and really just been focusing on that, utilizing information that I've learned to spread that information to help benefit other people.
Definitely. That's actually one of the reasons why, it's actually the ultimate reason why we wanted to have you on the podcast, because we know that being health conscious is very important. Right. And a lot of people nowadays are really getting into the health conscious, I want to say movement, so to speak. People are being just more aware of the things that they should be putting into their body.
Right.
So being that you, you're the owner of the Quest Nutrition Network, tell me a little bit about how you personally got into nutrition and where your passion for nutrition stemmed from.
Well, as I mentioned, I went to school for nutrition and exercise science. And one of the things that I saw growing up was that I had family members who had cancer. Okay. They had heart disease, diabetes. And in doing some of the research, a lot of the information was coming back to diet.
Okay.
So it caused for me to want to go deeper, dig deeper, and find out more information on what is it about that diet that is causing or may trigger certain things as it pertains to these diseases that's affecting us. Okay. So from an early set point, those are the things that really trigger for me to go down that road and really want to help people out, because I was seeing my family members affected by it.
Right. And a lot of people don't know, but they're starting to know now,
right,
that it's so important what you put into your body. Diet is definitely directly related to a lot of sicknesses and ailments that people come in contact with.
Absolutely. When you talk about, let's say obesity, for example. If we're consuming things like French fries and hamburgers and pizzas and cookies and things of that nature, and we want to lose weight, all right, you're going to have to change that up. You're not going to be able to lose weight and say, well, I still want to have my pizzas and my French fries and, my donuts and stuff like that. So it's really about making that decision. You got to make a decision and say, all right, am I going to continue with this particular type of path I'm going down? Or am I going to make that decision to say, I'm going to make this change and I am going to dedicate myself to being more healthier? So it starts off with the decision first.
Okay, definitely. That's definitely valuable information. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, what was the reason and why did you start the Quest Nutrition Network?
I started Quest Nutrition Network when I was in college, and I was telling people, when they would ask me, well, what's your major? And I'd say my major is nutrition. And then say, well, what do I eat? How do I lose weight? And I got that question so much that I was like, you know what? I need to really utilize this information and get it to as many people as possible. And how am I going to disseminate that information? All right, well, why don't I do one-on-one counseling sessions? And then the one-on-ones went from there to, all right, maybe I could do presentations. And then we went from the presentations to doing, okay, let's do social media. So it started off with just getting those questions so much. And I had the information. I was sharing the information for free and stuff. But at a certain point, I was like, all right, I need to really organize this and create an actual business, because the health and wellness and nutrition industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So whether you're selling supplements or, you're selling organic foods or whatever have you, there's ways that, you can utilize the information and present it to people and, in a business, in a business type of a setting and stuff like that. So that's essentially how everything started for me. Nice.
Definitely. So that's actually, going back to one of the reasons why we invited you on the podcast is because we feel like, obviously, entrepreneurship is very important. Absolutely. And we definitely like to support those people that go into entrepreneurship with something that they're really passionate about.
Right.
And obviously you're passionate about it. You went to school for nutrition,
right,
and then decided to pursue that after school. Mm-hmm. So definitely that was something that we thought was, commendable. Going into business, because we definitely need more business owners in the Black community, I would say. I want to ask, we had a couple of audience, Showbtv viewers that had a couple of questions. So we want to throw a couple of questions
sure,
in regards to the Quest Nutrition Network. Now we hear a lot about organic foods and non-organic foods.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about what organic food is.
All right. So your organic food is going to be food that's not going to have any pesticides, or it's not going to be a GMO type of a food. All right. So it's going to be a food that's in its most natural state. And organic foods, certified organic foods, they've gone through certain processes of inspections and stuff like that. And organic foods have the highest nutritional content. So when we're talking about, cancer prevention, we're talking about diabetes, we're talking about weight loss, we're talking about, giving your body the most nutrients as it possibly needs, then you want to ensure that the food that you're taking in is organic. For example, let's say the nutritional value of some organic strawberries compared to regular strawberries. Those regular strawberries might be GMO strawberries. All right. They may be genetically modified. So it's not in its most natural state. So you want to consume foods in its most natural state. All right. If you're consuming an apple is supposed to have a seed in it. That lets you know that it is organic. It's natural. It's going to have the highest content that the apple is supposed to have.
Right.
But if it doesn't have a seed and it's GMO, you're getting a fraction of the nutritional content. So we want to focus on, okay, why are we having this problem with cancer in this country? Why are we having the problem with heart disease in this country? Why are we having the problems with diabetes in this country? It starts off with what's in your plate. It starts off with, there's other factors, but what's in your plate and what you're putting in your mouth is a major factor.
Now, you mentioned GMO a little while ago. Now, when you say GMO, does that mean that that particular food is man-made? What's the definition of GMO? What does that really mean?
The definition of GMO, all right, best way to describe it is it's not in its most natural state.
Okay.
All right? It's not in its most natural state. A seed is going to grow, all right, whether it's an apple, all right? You're gonna get your apples and stuff like that, and if it's organic, and it's in its most natural state. A GMO, that is a replica, all right?
Okay.
It's a replica as a seed, so it's not coming from its most natural state, all right? So you have different reasons why you'll have GMOs and stuff like that. Some of these manufacturers will tell you, well, we're doing the GMOs because of it prevents the pesticides, it prevents the the bugs, all right? So there's a pesticide resistance and stuff like that. So it'll give you certain reasons in terms of why they want to create GMO crops and stuff like that. But ultimately, when it comes to health-wise, we don't know. We don't know how that's affecting us health-wise.
Right.
So it's always best, you want to get your foods in its most natural way. It shouldn't be tainted. It shouldn't be any man-made or anything like that. It's got to be in its most natural state for it to provide you the benefits that it needs.
Okay. Definitely. And that's what we like to provide on Showbtv. We like to provide you guys with valuable information. Another reason why we wanted to have you on, brother. Now, a lot of people are now changing their diet to go meatless.
Right.
And you hear the terms vegetarian and vegan. In my research, I come to find out that being a vegetarian is different than being a vegan.
Right.
Can we go on a little bit about the differences between vegetarian and vegan?
Well, somebody that's a vegan, they're not going to consume any form of a meat, all right, compared to a vegetarian. Some vegetarians still consume eggs. Some vegetarians will still consume fish. A vegan is going to be a little bit more disciplined and a little bit more strict, okay? So they're not going to consume any fish. They're not going to consume any ice cream. They're not going to consume pizza or anything that has cheese or anything like that. So there's no dairy, there's no eggs, there's no fish. It's really mainly vegetables, grains. Rather than consuming regular milk, they're going to be consuming almond milk or hemp milk or things of that nature. There's a lot of health benefits to being a vegan, and there's a lot of health benefits to being a vegetarian compared to a person who is a meat eater. Okay. So it's certainly a very, very important life decision to make for yourself, and it's certainly a disciplined way to live your life. So there's benefits to both.
Right. Now, it's always, people say often that you get, if you take meat out of your diet, you're going to start lacking in the things that you get from meat. Right. Now, the way I understand it is, when you eat meat, you're actually getting a byproduct only because you get the protein that the actual animal ate while they were alive. Right. So the grass that animal ate is what we're actually ingesting when we eat their flesh. But we could actually circumvent that process, take the meat out, and go straight to the root, which is the plant. Yeah,
I think that it's a terrible misinformation for us to feel as though protein is only obtained through animal fat, and that's not true. You can get protein from beans. You can get protein from wheatgrass. You could get protein from a plant-based diet. You could get all the protein that your body needs from doing plant-based. So it's misinformation. It's not necessary, for a person to have to eat meat. You can get plenty of protein. One of the things that I like to do is I consume smoothies. Okay. All right, on a regular basis. And two of the ingredients that I utilize is moringa powder and wheatgrass. And both of those is packed with amino acids. Amino acids is the breakdown of protein. All right. Not to mention the fact that with wheatgrass and moringa powder, you're getting B vitamins, you're getting iron, you're getting chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the blood of the plant.
Okay.
All right. So you're getting all these nutrients in addition to amino acids, which is protein essentially. All right. So with that alone, you're going to get the recommended amount of protein that your body needs in each and every day. So by consuming a plant-based diet, all right, you will in fact get sufficient amount of protein. So it's important that, you know, you do your research. You know, people who become vegetarians or vegans, they decide that they want to do that. Do your research. Know the foods that you want to consume, because just because you say you're a vegan, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be healthy. You know what I mean? Some people, they say I'm gonna be a vegan, but they eating a whole lot of bad carbs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? French fries is not meat. You know what I'm saying? And the person who's vegan could say, I'm going to eat a whole bunch of French fries.
Not healthy.
It's not going to be healthy. So you want to be vegan, but you also want to be plant-based. Plant-based meaning that you're consuming more vegetables. You're consuming whole foods, you know, quinoa and stuff like that, whole wheat oatmeal and stuff like that. You know, you want to make sure that the nutritional content of the foods that you're consuming are high.
Okay.
So it's not just about eliminating the meat.
Okay.
There's more to it. There's more to it.
Understood. You know, we subscribe to your YouTube channel, and for those of you who haven't already subscribed, go onto YouTube and subscribe to the Quest Nutrition Network YouTube channel. And you know, we checked out some of your content, and we went along with you on some of your shopping sprees when you went to go get some vegetables and things like that.
Yeah.
In some of those videos, we heard you speak about superfoods.
Yes.
Why don't you educate the Showbtv audience and talk to us a little bit about superfoods, what they are, and what are some of the benefits of superfoods?
Okay. The definition of a superfood is a food that is packed with nutrients. All right. So one example of a superfood is wheatgrass, which I mentioned before. Okay. When you're consuming wheatgrass powder, moringa powder. All right. These are foods that not only will have a high content of vitamin K, they will have a high content of vitamin C, magnesium, manganese, all of the essential nutrients that your body needs. Our bodies require about 52 nutrients, vitamins, and minerals on a regular basis. And if we don't get those nutrients on a regular basis, that's the reason why. One of the reasons why that will trigger diabetes, heart disease, weight loss, weight gain, obesity, cancer. So when you're consuming things that contain high amounts of different nutrients, then you're arming your body with everything that it needs. Okay. You know, so things like wheatgrass, things like moringa powder, ginger is a superfood, mangoes, collard greens, kale, you know, your cruciferous vegetables, you know, those types of foods that is just packed with nutrients, you know, and those nutrients are things that we need on a regular basis. So we want to consistently consume those types of foods. You know, it's just like what I said before. It's one thing to be vegan, and it's another thing to really like study what you're supposed to eat that's going to give your body ample energy. It's going to give your body and your heart the nutrients that it needs to block off or clear out the arteries and stuff like that, and eliminate any chance of disease.
Okay, definitely. So, okay. Definitely valuable information. Once again, definitely valuable information. So I want to take a moment to get back to one of the questions that came from one of our Showbtv supporters. Okay, so what's one of our Showbtv, some of our Showbtv supporters want to know is water. It is really, really important for people to consume water, the right amounts of water.
Right.
Give us a little bit of education about water, the importance of water, and the benefits of water, and why it should be a staple in our diet.
Well, one of the things that one of the questions that I get a lot as a nutritionist is they'll say, you know, Jabari, can you tell me about detox. What do I need to do to detox and stuff? All right. And one of the most important things and one of the most easiest things is consuming a lot more water. Now, when it comes to water, what we essentially should be consuming is half our body weight in ounces. Okay. So, for example, if I'm 150 pounds, let's say I'm 150 pounds, I'm going to be consuming 75 ounces in water. All right. Myself, I'm about 168 pounds, maybe 170 pounds and stuff. So I would need to consume 80 to 85 ounces of water. All right. Our bodies is made up of 70% of water. When we are obviously going to the bathroom, going to the gym and sweating and stuff like that, we are reducing the water content in our body. You have to replenish that. That's number one. Number two, to go back to the detox point. All right. It is very important for us to regularly detox our body. And water is one of the main ways to do that. When we talk about disease prevention is done by providing your body with the nutrients that it needs, as well as eliminating the things that it doesn't need. All right. And how do you do that? You do that through detox. You do that through ample amounts of water. So one of the things that an individual can do is consume, like I said, the 75 ounces of water per day if you're a 150-pound person. All right. You want to figure out some type of a detox plan for yourself and say, I'm going to drink a gallon or a gallon and a half of water and detox my system, clear my system out. It's Sunday. I don't have much to do. I don't have to run around a lot. So definitely, if you're going to be using the bathroom a lot, so you want to be close to to your bathroom and stuff like that. So detox is probably one of the number one reasons why you want to make sure that you're consuming a lot of water. And another reason, of course, is weight loss. You want to consume a lot of water. Individuals who have issues losing weight is generally because of the fact that they're not consuming a lot of water.
Okay. Now, you mentioned detox.
Yes.
There's definitely benefits of detox. What are some of the other ways that a person could detox their system, or cleanse their system of all the, the negative stuff that have been going into their bodies?
There's a lot of different ways. Detox and fasting, I want to be very, very careful with that.
Okay.
Because the reason why I want to be careful with that is if I say something, I'm really speaking to the audience of a person who's absolutely healthy and is not taking any medication. They don't have any particular disease or ailment. All right. If you're taking medication and and you have some type of disease or ailment, then you need to sit down on a one-on-one with a particular expert, a nutritionist, a doctor. Now, for somebody who's absolutely healthy and is not taking any medications, one of the best things that you can do, as I mentioned before, is taking a day where you're going to do fasting, detox day, gallon or better of water. How you can add to that is getting apple cider vinegar, organic apple cider vinegar. The name of the brand that I like is Bragg's. All right, Bragg's.
Is that the Mother's?
Yeah.
And it has the fiber in the bottom.
It's got the fiber at the bottom of it and stuff.
Yeah, I got that.
And so that's the particular one that I like.
Mm-hmm.
And you take a tablespoon. You put it into your water, and throughout the day, you're drinking that. You're drinking your apple cider vinegar. That's also adding to your detox. A good way, an analogy that I like to use when it comes to detox, all right?
Okay.
Let's say I got a family, all right? I got 2 kids. I got a wife. Sometimes when people are at the house, it's hard to clean up because there's so much going on and stuff like that, people at the house. So when the wife, she says, hey, I'm taking the boys, I'm going to go out for a couple of hours. That's a great time for me to say, all right, you know what? She's out for a couple of hours. I'm going to clean up. All right. So I clean up. They're out the house. It's time for me to get everything straightened out. Our bodies operate in the same exact way.
Okay.
All right. When you're not consuming your cheeseburgers and your hamburgers and your pizza and your French fries and your soda, or even the healthy foods. All right. when you're giving your body a break, because essentially your colon cleanses itself. You've got to just create the environment for it to cleanse itself. All right. So when you're not bombarding your body with those things, then, you're allowing it to do its job, to cleanse.
Okay.
So you essentially want to eat light for a day. Something like a great cleanse or a detox would be starting your day off with a smoothie.
Okay.
All right. Your wheatgrass smoothie, you're going to use a banana. All right. You're going to use frozen strawberries, frozen blueberries. All right. You're going to take half almond milk, half coconut water. The coconut water is great for potassium. Okay. All right. Great for your digestive system. And you're going to put that into your blender. You're going to blend that all together with your tablespoon of wheatgrass, your tablespoon of moringa powder. All right. You're going to blend that all together. That's going to be your breakfast. For lunch, you're going to take a big bowl of a salad. Okay. Lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers. You're going to utilize the Bragg's or apple cider vinegar as your salad dressing. Okay. So that's going to be your big bowl of salad. That's going to be your lunch. For dinner, you have a broth or a lentil soup, something light. Okay. Throughout the day, like we mentioned before, you're going to be consuming your water with your apple cider vinegar, your tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a gallon or better. That's a great way to detox your body. You're giving your body a break from the heavy carbs and stuff like that. It's a great way to do your detox. But again, I can't stress this enough. I'm speaking to the people who are healthy.
Right.
I'm speaking to the people who aren't taking medications. If you've got medications that you're taking, you have a condition, you need to speak with a professional so that they can specifically speak to your particular situation.
Okay, definitely. Now, how important is it for, when a person wants to get healthy, not just changing their diet, but getting into fitness as well? Is that should that be an even balance, health, nutrition and fitness?
That's a great question, Shamari, and I want to take it a step further.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people. I often get people who come up to me. All right, I've been a vegetarian for like 20 years,
okay.
20 plus years, and when I became a vegetarian, some people kind of looking at me a certain way, like, what, you stop eating meat? Like, yeah, they give you you're not gonna eat no chicken. So nowadays, I don't know if this is the right term, but now eating healthy is more trendy. You know what I mean?
It's the in thing.
It's the in thing and stuff. So when people see me, they'll say, hey, Quest, I'm a vegetarian and stuff. I'm a vegetarian too, or I'm a vegan too, which is great. But are you a vegan or a vegetarian, and are you stressed out? Are you dealing with proper stress management? Are you exercising? Do you have great people around you, great social relationships around you, people that's motivating you? Are you pursuing your life purpose? Because when we talk about health isn't just one thing. I could ask 10 people right now, what is healthy? One person will say, I drink a lot of water, that's healthy. Another person will say, I sleep well, that's healthy. And they're all right. So it's about a combination of things. You can't just be a vegan or a vegetarian, but you're never going to the gym. All right. Eating healthy is just one part of it. You have to have your exercise regimen. You have to have a regimen of stress management, meditation, deep breathing exercises, yoga, whatever it is, Tai Chi, whatever it is. It's got to be something that is beneficial towards you in different ways. So it's your exercise, it's your eating, it's your meditation, it's your sleep, okay? Also life purpose. There's a lot of research in all areas. So it's got to be a healthy balance of everything.
Okay. Just pardon me 1 second, brother. Okay, we're back, folks. We just took a couple second delay. So I want a couple second break. But I want to get back into some of the questions that our Showbtv audience members were interested in knowing. So let me just take a scroll down some of my questions here. 1 second. Okay, so a lot of people are very concerned with cancer.
Yeah.
Okay. And you opened the podcast talking about some of your family members.
Yeah.
That had cancer. I actually experienced that as well. I had a family member. I have a family member who has gone through something like that. Blessings to the Most High, was able to, get through it, is now living a healthy life. So I do have experience in feeling what comes with loving someone who may be going through that kind of thing. So with cancer being such a big, a big issue in the Black community, especially, what are some of the preventive methods that people could go about in regards to trying to, that saying, do control what you can control.
Right.
What are some of the things that people can actually do to prevent, going down that road?
Well, the first thing I'll say is, and I actually did my thesis during my master's program on vitamin D.
Okay.
Vitamin D in our community, in the African American community, is we're deficient in vitamin D, terribly deficient. Part of it is because of the winter times in the northeast. It gets dark at around 4:30. All right, we naturally get our vitamin D from the sun. All right. To add on to that, because of our melanin was supposed to be a protective measure from the sun's rays.
Okay.
But it also prevents us from properly absorbing sufficient vitamin D. So we have to get it from outside sources. So one of the biggest things that I can say is that we have to consume vitamin D on a regular basis. What I recommend to my clients is a liquid-based vitamin D. It's organic, all right? It's vegan-based. And you consume it. It's 1,000 IUs. IU stands for international units.
Okay.
And you're going to consume that every day. In addition to vitamin D, you're going to also consume vitamin B12. Vitamin B12, it operates at the cellular level. Okay.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
I take vitamin B12. Why does vitamin B12 change the tint of your urine?
It changes the tint.
It gives you like a neon. I was talking to my dad, and he was saying that it gives you some sort of a neon.
I've been taking vitamin B12 for some time. I personally haven't experienced that.
Okay.
I personally haven't experienced it. The brand that I take, the same brand that I use for my vitamin B12 is the same brand that I use for the D3.
Right.
And both of them are organic, vegan-based, non-GMO. I personally haven't had that experience with it.
Right.
But one thing I could tell you about vitamin B12 is that in addition to vitamin D3, individuals who have cancer, their vitamin B12 levels tend to be low. Their vitamin D levels tend to be low. All right. So we want to consume and make sure that, we're consuming those on a regular basis. Okay. All right. Green tea has also been cited in many studies that can be a cancer preventative. In addition to weight loss, it's great for weight loss as well. All right. And what we talked about earlier, detox, superfoods. Cancer cannot affect an individual who is taking in lots of nutrients. Okay. So if you're consuming, certain things like moringa powder and wheatgrass, chlorella powder is another one that I like to use. Chlorella powder is great. It's something that I use in my smoothies. It's another superfood. It comes from green algae. It's in the spirulina family. Spirulina is also great as well. These are all superfoods. Spirulina is very high in protein. It's got the highest content of protein. It's got more protein and amino acids than beef does.
Okay.
All right. So, all things that is easily accessible at a health food store, or, vitamin place, vitamin shop, or whatever have you. But regular consuming these types of foods in a smoothie, it decreases your risk of cancer. Another thing I could speak on that is not, something that you place on a fork or in a smoothie or anything like that, but stress.
Okay.
Stress is something that is really big in our community. Whether you are a person who's just got a lot of responsibilities, whether it's a single mom that's got a couple of kids, whether you're trying to, you're putting together your business. And sometimes when people are pursuing something, sometimes they, neglect their health. A lot of the times in our community, we wait until we get sick to then make the decision and say, all right, I'm going to start eating healthy. Oh, man, I got sick. No, we have to reverse that mentality. We have to have the mentality of prevention first, so we won't get to that point where I got to start eating healthy now. No, that's reverse. Start eating healthy first, so you won't get to that point. We have to have that mindset of, I'm going to pursue my paper. I'm going to go after this business. I'm going to pursue everything that I got dreams of accomplishing, but I'm going to make sure that I'm around to be able to enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth. So you gotta. It's about priorities.
Are there benefits to taking zinc and iodine if you want to keep a healthy immune system?
Yeah, iodine is good for your thyroid. Iodine is very important for your thyroid. Zinc is very important for men.
Right.
Every time a male ejaculates, you are diminishing your zinc content. So it's very, very important for male energy.
Okay.
Male energy and testosterone. So you need zinc.
Okay.
On a regular basis. And iodine is important for your thyroid gland, and your thyroid gland is important for regulating certain hormones and stuff like that. Hormones that is good and very important for weight loss as well as cancer prevention.
Okay.
If your thyroid is out of whack, then there's all kinds of things that can happen.
Right. Are there benefits to taking multivitamins?
There are, but you need to be mindful. You need to be very, very mindful, because I've seen people buy vitamins that are like $5. You can't buy vitamins. Like, put it this way, just like when you are purchasing your organic foods, your organic wheatgrass, and you're looking at the back of the label and stuff like that, you got to do the same thing for the vitamins.
Right.
You have to look and say, all right, what does it say? If there's a bunch of different ingredients and stuff like that you can't even pronounce, you can't even say, yellow number 5, FD, DC, yellow number 5, aluminum lake, and stuff like that. There's so many different additives in these things, and we wondering why we got these cancers ravishing our community.
Right.
So whatever you take, if you're going to take a vitamin supplement, a multivitamin supplement, make sure it says whole food vitamin, multivitamin supplement, because that lets you know that it's being derived from some type of a whole food. And please don't buy no vitamins that's like $5 or $6. It's on sale, because chances are it's got ingredients on there that you can't even pronounce, and you don't know what the hell it is. Right. We need to know, like, if something says high fructose corn syrup, we don't need to be consuming it. Right. All right. We need to know if it contains MSG, all right, monosodium glutamate, that we don't need to be consuming it. And sometimes in the back of these vitamin supplements, it says monosodium glutamate. It says high fructose corn syrup. Right. And both of those have been tested, scientifically shown that they increase the risk of cancer, they increase the risk of diabetes, they increase the risk of heart disease. So
Right.
we need to be very mindful of labels.
Right.
Yeah.
I grew up as a vegetarian.
Right.
We ate fish and so on.
Right.
Now, when you think about food,
Mm-hmm.
is there benefits to eating raw foods, and what are some of the raw foods that you could eat? What foods give you the most nutrition not cooked? If you understand the question.
I understand. Yeah, I understand the question. Let's first start off with at the basic level. Your salads, okay. Things like your lettuce, your tomatoes, your cucumbers, anything that you're going to put into a salad and stuff like that. You're eating it raw and stuff. That's going to be a tremendous benefit, because one of the things that happens when you overcook vegetables, okay, let's say something like a kale, all right, something like a kale or collard greens, which are, by the way, we talked about cancer earlier. Those are cancer preventative foods.
Okay.
All right. They're in the family of vegetables called cruciferous vegetables. Bok chow, collard greens, broccoli. Those are green leafy vegetables. And they are in the family of foods that will fight cancer.
Okay.
If you're going to consume or overheat some of these foods like broccoli and collard greens and stuff like that, you overconsume them or overcook them, then you take away some of the nutritional benefits. All right. So you want to make sure that you're cooking them light.
Okay.
You're cooking them light and stuff like that, so they still remain and have those benefits that we need. But at the simplest basic level, your lettuce, your tomatoes, your mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms are great. Cauliflower, what do you call it? Why is this food? It's in my mind right now.
Yeah, it happens.
Beets.
Okay.
Beets are all really, really great for the blood, great for the liver. So just keeping it simple at that level, like those types of vegetables, you consuming them raw, you uncooked. You want to consume those on a regular basis.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have a sweet tooth.
Right.
And I try to keep it as healthy as possible.
Right.
Because you talk about, and even besides having a sweet tooth,
mm-hmm.
you talk about food and intake, and there's a lot of things that we eat that break down into sugar.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So can we talk a little bit about good sugar and bad sugar? And the reason why I bring this up is because I think to myself, I eat a lot of apples and bananas, and those are a lot of sweet fruits.
Yeah.
And I always think to myself, am I eating too much? Is this too much sugar?
Right.
But then I'm thinking, how could it? I'm thinking in my mind, is good sugar? Could good sugar be too much sugar?
No.
First, I want to know a little bit about the bad sugars, because you eat a bagel, that breaks down and turns to sugar, so that's something like a bad sugar, right?
Absolutely.
And then some of the good sugars, and is there a such thing as overdosing on good sugar?
All right. So when it comes to quote unquote bad sugars and stuff like that, let's say for example, a bagel,
Okay.
a cookie, a Oreo cookie, these are sugars that when they break down, they turn it into glucose.
Okay.
All right. Glucose accumulation, of course, is going to affect us with diabetes. It's going to affect our weight. All right. If you're bombarding your body with this type of diet over a course of a period of years, a couple of things could happen. It could either be diabetes, it could either be weight gain, it could probably be both. Okay, so the accumulation of those types of foods and stuff over a period, because we need to understand is that cancer, obesity, all of these things, they don't happen overnight.
Right.
Just the same way as that if we want to lose the weight, it ain't gonna happen overnight. All right. Everything takes a natural progression, because even though you're putting and you're polluting your body, we may pollute our bodies with certain things on a regular basis. Our body is so strategically and ingenious that it's still doing its best to flush out all of the crap that you put into it. But our body gets bombarded after so much years of alcohol consumption, so much years of eating donuts and eating bagels and eating cookies that, after 10, 20 years, your metabolism slows down. All right. You're gaining the weight. So, your body's like, man, I give up, man. I tried to do my part, but you wasn't doing your part. So the main thing is that when it comes to these types of eating, these types of sugary or bad sugars and stuff like that, we got to replace them with the healthier sugars. Okay. The healthier sugars that's coming from the fruit, the healthier sugars that's coming from your banana, from your mango, from your grapes. If you are someone obviously who's very healthy and doesn't have a diabetic issue and stuff like that, you certainly want to consume as much fruits as you possibly can, because that is fructose. Fructose is the good sugars. All right. And even if a person is diabetic, they can still consume those good sugars, fructose. The only thing is that you don't want to overdo it with things like bananas, because the banana has a high content of fructose and stuff. So you wouldn't eat 5 bananas if you're diabetic. You're going to be mindful of that, but you still should be consuming fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, this is something that's next what I'm going to ask you next is something that's I guess close to me. There's when people talk about weight, right? You have people that are overweight and underweight.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might hear a person that is overweight say a person that's underweight can't understand the struggle, right? Of them losing weight. Now, me coming from a person being slim, growing up, I'm more comfortable with my weight now as a grown up.
Okay.
As a younger man, I was self-conscious about my weight.
Okay.
I used to wear, double up on clothes and, a couple of shirts and some pants only to try to put size on myself. Right.
Yeah.
So those people that are overweight saying that they're struggling to lose weight, there's also people out there that are on the slim side and underweight that are struggling to gain weight. What are some of the things, or what are some of the things that people that want to gain weight go about gaining healthy weight?
Okay. Excellent question. That's an excellent question. The first thing that I would say is you want to consume some protein powders. All right. Get you some vegan protein powders. If you are vegetarian or vegan and stuff, there's some great ones at some of these health food stores, and those are great because they're a meal.
Okay. All
right. So essentially, you want to be consuming more. You want to be consuming more foods, more whole foods. So you're going to be consuming your quinoas, your salmon, your broccoli. You're going to be consuming more of it. You're also going to incorporate some type of a weightlifting regimen to build up those muscles. So in combination with the protein powder that you're going to be taking with your smoothies and stuff like that, you've got a meal as well, in addition with that protein powder. So with increasing your weight, it really all boils down to consuming more foods. And it's a difference, obviously, if you are a vegan or vegetarian compared to somebody who is a meat eater. A meat eater is going to naturally gain more weight. Right. They're going to gain more weight. It's going to be easier for them. That's just the way that it is. Right. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way around that. Somebody who is a vegan, it's going to take a little bit longer, but with the dedication and working hard at it, you'll gain that weight. Right. It's just going to take a little bit more time.
Right. Okay. So. All right, so that's definitely something that a person that is interested in gaining weight, they don't have to be discouraged. They just have to go and they have to, just stick to a regimen. And be disciplined and just keep going. Stay at it.
And then one thing I'd add is that work with a nutritionist.
Okay.
Absolutely work with a nutritionist that is going to design a specific weight plan for you, weight gain plan for you, just the same way as me as a nutritionist, I design a weight loss plan for somebody, because I have to tailor it specifically to that person. I mentioned the fact that, a person who is a vegan or vegetarian is going to have a completely different approach to a meat eater when they're trying to gain weight.
Right.
So there's specific things that they need to do based upon their diet. And a nutritionist is going to be able to design that particular weight gain program based on their needs, what they like, what they're allergic to, knowing that you're allergic to this, so I can't incorporate that into your program. And there's certain snacks that you need to have, before you work out, after you work out, and so on and so forth. And there's certain specific exercises, weight, your lifting of weights and stuff like that to put on the muscle and stuff. So there's certain things that the nutritionist can guide the person on doing what they need to do. And also just the accountability piece. Mm-hmm. When you got somebody that's watching what you're doing and checking for what you're doing every other week, then you tend to be more on track with it. Like, all right, they're going to ask me about this, so I got to make sure that I was on point with it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, definitely. Now, we saw on your, as we mentioned earlier, we subscribed to your YouTube channel, and we saw that you interviewed the folks over there at Sundial.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me into herbs and teas. Are there benefits of drinking teas, and what are some of the good teas that you could recommend? And even furthermore, let's get even specific. Some specific teas to do specific things. Okay. If you know, and if you can give us any.
Absolutely. I'm going to talk about what I do. You know what I mean? Specifically, I before I recommend anything to anybody, I'm very, very particular about that word recommend, because, again, speaking to what we said before, we have to make sure that we're speaking directly to the people that's absolutely healthy and not taking no medications and stuff. But what I do, what I like to do when it pertains to detoxing and clearing my system, I like the herb Pardiarco.
Okay.
Pardiarco is great. And I get it at Sundial. It's great for cleansing out your blood.
Okay.
It's great for cancer prevention. All right. So that's the first one. Dandelion, sarsaparilla root. Those three, I mix those together. Dandelion, sarsaparilla, Pardiarco. The three of them are detox herbs. They clean your blood of impurities. And those are great herbs. Another herb that I really love is parsley. Parsley is really good because it's just packed with nutrients.
Okay.
It is packed with nutrients. Red clover. Red clover is another one. Is another herb that I love, and I've been getting it at Sundial for years. And it's really good for cancer prevention, cleaning out the blood. So we're kind of talking about, that this is something that I've done for years. Right. Going back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of family members who I've lost. Right. From cancer. Family members who around me have had all these different diseases and stuff like that. So it caused me to do that research. Right. And go to the health food stores and stuff. I like to get the tonics at Sundial. They got the caramel tea. Okay. These are tonics that are great for cleansing the intestine, cleansing the colon. The caramel tea, the man back tonic, great for men, great for obviously testosterone and things like that. And listen, as men, we are getting older. Mm-hmm. We have to take even better care of ourselves. I know. I start to feel a bunch of aches and pains all of a sudden. Yeah. So it's important, at this age, it's important for us to be mindful of our prostate. Mm-hmm. We talked earlier about the benefits of water. One of the benefits of consuming a lot of water is you decrease your prostate cancer incidence, because individuals who have issues with prostate cancer, sometimes it's attributed to the fact that they're dehydrated. They're not consuming enough water. So it's so important to get these tonics. It's so important to incorporate herbs. And it's so important when you go to a place like Sundial. Very, very specifically, I'm speaking about Sundial because I know Andre, he and I have known each other for years, and he's an expert in this area. He knows what a person should take, how much of it they should take, because he grew up in that environment.
Right.
The grandfather that's an herbalist, a master herbalist, and just the family around him and stuff. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that there's many other health food stores, but I can only speak about my experience and what I do in terms of my family, myself, and what I make sure that people in my home is incorporating on a regular basis and stuff.
Right.
So that's just to mention a few.
That's very cool. So we were just talking about Sundial. So the Sundial is located in Uniondale on Jerusalem Avenue. I'm going to link the address at the bottom of the video. So if you guys want to go on and take a visit there, ask for Andre. As you just heard Jabari mention, he's an expert in this field. So if you have any questions or anything like that, if there's something that you're interested in purchasing, go down to Sundial and tell them Showbtv and Quest Nutrition Network sent you guys.
That's
All right.
That's right.
So I another thing that I'm interested in, we talking about cancer and so is there really a such thing as luck of the draw, like a person just kind of got it? When it comes to any ailments, is something is always directly related to something? Is there always an underlying cause that triggered, or can it be just random? This person was just,
That is an excellent question, because for years there's been research going on to determine is cancer genetic?
Okay.
Is it something that is because your father or your mother had it, then you're going to have it? For cancer specifically, the answer is that only 2% of cancer cases is genetic.
Okay.
Meaning that it's environment that's is essentially causing it. So when we talk about factors such as not consuming enough nutrients, because remember what I said earlier, your body needs about 52 nutrients on a regular basis, for it to operate at its best. You have individuals who have said to me, they say, Jabari, I never smoke, I don't consume a lot of alcohol. Why is it that I got cancer? And I'll ask them questions, and I'll find out things when I ask the questions. And I'll say, what's your stress levels look like? What are you doing to manage your stress? Because people don't realize that stress does kill.
Sure.
The genetic component is funny because it's sort of like the best analogy that I could have is like, let's say you have a pit bull, okay? And if you don't bother the pit bull, okay, you don't touch that pit bull. I'm talking about an outsider or whatever have you. If you don't bother the pit bull ain't gonna bother you. You kind of just walk by and so on and so forth, and you don't bother. It doesn't bother you. But if you start aggravating or messing with it, he's gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna get you now.
Right.
And that's how cancer cells are. If you are, we may have cancer cells in our body. All of us have certain type of things in our bodies that we get genetically.
Okay.
All right. And if we're not consuming the right diet, all right, then those things get activated and turned into cancer cells that begin to multiply, because that's essentially what cancer is.
Right.
It's cells that begin to multiply. All right. It's one that takes over another one. It takes over another one. And it's just our cells all out of whack and doing everything it's not supposed to do. And that process gets activated by, what did we talk about before? A lack of a vitamin D, a lack of vitamin B12, consuming a diet of French fries and hamburgers and alcohol and, things of that nature. So we all have these things in us, but they have to be activated. The same way I said, the guard dog has the ability to attack you and be ferocious and tear you apart.
Right.
But he ain't gonna bother you if you don't bother him. So we have to make sure that we're doing a detox, a detox program that we've been instructed for our particular case, for us specifically, that we should take. We're consuming superfoods, foods that's filled with nutrients. When it comes to cancer prevention, you can't live an average lifestyle.
Okay.
You have to be vigilant and say, I'm not getting cancer. I'm going to protect my family. I'm going to make sure that they're consuming vitamin D every day. They're going to have vitamin B12. They're going to drink green tea. We're going to head over to Sundial and talk to Andre and talk about the herbs we need to be taking and the tonics we need to be taking. We're going to meditate regularly for 20 minutes. We got to hustle and bustle lifestyle. We got to give ourselves a moment to really have that time for ourselves, to have that calm moment. There's research. There's research that's there. The body of research is there. Sleep is something that we really haven't talked about in this
very
sit
important.
down.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
There's 50 years of sleep research that shows that not only does sleep affect our mood, but it affects our brain function, and it affects our body's ability to lose weight. All right. So if we're not sleeping sufficiently, individuals who only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, they don't have the same ability as somebody who sleeps 8 hours a night to lose and burn fat. So the weight loss part is a tremendous part when it comes to sleep. Individuals who are sleep deprived tend to be more moody. They tend to make, research shows they make poorer decisions. All right, because their cognitive functions is not really there. It's not as sharp. They're not as sharp as they need to be as a person who slept 8 hours. So weight loss, your cognitive function, your ability to fight cancer, because essentially, and here's how these diseases are linked. All right, individual who is overweight or obese, they increase their likelihood of cancer. An individual who is obese, they increase their likelihood of getting diabetes and heart disease.
Okay.
All right. So we either are, with the poor diet and poor sleep patterns, we're moving down one of those paths or two of those paths, sometimes all four of them. So that's why it's so essential that, when you're eating a particular type of diet, you're sleeping regularly. You're not just preventing heart disease, but you may be also preventing obesity. You may be also preventing diabetes. It just depends on what's the genetic component that's in you. We all have the genetic component in us. I've got individuals in my family who are diabetic. I've got individuals in my family who will have heart disease. So the genetic component is there, but if I'm not getting the proper sleep that I need, then I could be potentially activating that genetic component. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's so important for us to do this regularly.
Right.
Sleep.
Now, as far as taking, men and women in some cases have to do different things to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
A big issue, a big topic that I've had several conversations with different women about the issue of fibroids. Is there anything that nutrition-wise can go to, or is there anything at all that we can talk about?
One of the things that is funny, because I asked Andre about this at Sundial in regards to this, and one of the things that we talked about was the chemicals, the products that women use when with the perms. All right, some of these products, what research is showing is contributing.
For this stuff.
Absolutely, is showing that that is a component. That there's research that shows it. It's not just like hearsay. So
taking some things out would help then. Eliminating some things out of your
eliminating some of these products and stuff like that. And one of the things that we're seeing nowadays is more and more women are sort of going the natural way. And it's now become a trend. It's now acceptable, and more women are moving away from the perms, and they're adapting their natural hair. And I think that we will begin to see slight decrease and stuff in the prevalence of these fibroids. Another thing that Andre and I had talked about is that what contributes to the prevalence is the high consumption of the heavy meats, the porks and the beefs and stuff like that, and some of the acidic, some of the acids that we're taking in by consuming those types of foods and stuff. So we tend to see the fibroids less in women who are consuming more of a plant-based diet. So just those two areas right there, those two components, not to say that it completely removes all chances of you having any problem with fibroids, but it significantly reduce your risk of it.
Okay. Being from the islands, we eat a lot of ground foods. When I say ground foods, I mean like yams and and bananas and stuff like that. Is that kind of stuff good for you?
Fiber is so important and stuff like that. You mentioned yams and sweet potatoes and stuff like that. Sweet potatoes, for example, is high in beta carotene, and beta carotene is a cancer preventative. A lot of the colorful foods and stuff like that, like the beta carotenes and your beets and things like that, they've got beta carotene. Plantains and stuff like that, so those ground foods and stuff, they're very important because they're high in fiber. Fiber. On the subject of fiber, it's very important for you to consume fiber to keep a consistent bowel movement. Yes.
How important is it, and how regular should a person be moving their bowels?
Your bowel movement, I would say like at least twice a day.
Right.
At least twice a day. If your bowels, if you're only moving bowels like every other day, you're constipated.
Something's wrong.
That's just what it all boils down to. So we have to start with something like what we talked about, earlier. It was consuming more water, half of your body weight. So, for example, like I said before, I'm 160 some pounds, maybe 170 pounds. So if it's your 16-ounce bottles, you're going to consume 5 of those, 5 of the 16-ounce bottles per day. And that will help, with your regularity, because you need to be regular every day. If you're going every day, then you're constipated, and you need to change that.
Right.
There ain't nothing healthy about being constipated because it increases your likelihood of some type of a digestive issue.
Right.
And we don't need that.
Right.
We don't need that.
Is it really important? Is it really important for men that get up in age? They say that by 50 you should start checking your prostate and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That's important.
It's absolutely important because the prevalence of prostate cancer in African American men, it's the statistics are bad. Statistics are really bad, and we losing a lot of brothers right now. Brothers that is the head of their households, they're providers, they're fathers to their children, and they're afflicted with this illness that it can be easily, I don't want to say easily, but if we were properly educated and this information was disseminated more, we would be more proactive. Because when and when you're aware of something, you're going to be a proactive. If man, I got to consume more vitamin D because, I was watching the Showbtv podcast, and they were talking about vitamin D. They were talking about B12. They was talking about superfoods. They was talking about exercise and meditation. I got to start to do these things, So when it comes to whether you're 40 years old, 45 years old, you got to begin to take the measures of not just the preventative, but you also got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. It's not the easiest decision to get that cancer test and stuff like that, the prostate cancer test. And listen, I'll be the first to say it's not an easy topic for men to discuss.
Sure.
But let's look at it from this standpoint. All right. We could look at it from a standpoint of, am I going to be mindful of my family, all right, and being around for my children, all right? Am I going to be mindful of that, or am I going to be just the type of person that bypasses it? Because one of the biggest things as men that we do, all right, I'll admit it,
keep things quiet.
We keep things quiet. We're dealing with pain, and I got to go to work. I got to provide for my family. I got to go to work. I got to do what I got to do. We think that we got pain here, never mind. Because it's the manly thing to do. It's not the best thing, to complain and I'm hurt, I'm this, I'm that. The manly thing to do is to get up and make it happen for your family.
Right.
But nowadays, and especially as we get older in, excuse me, especially when we get older in age, we need to pay attention, especially if we're not doing the cancer preventative measures.
Right.
If we're not doing the cancer preventative measures, then we need to get checked. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My mom used to have a holistic center called Simply Nubian, and she used to offer services like colonics. Can you speak to that any with the benefits of colonics? Because we're talking about the prostate. You also go down to the colon. That's also an important subject, I would say.
Your colon is so important. We spoke about it earlier as we were talking about like cleansing and stuff like that. So essentially, your colonics and stuff like that, and cleaning out your colon of any unnecessary things that's in it, it's so important. So you want to incorporate and be mindful of those things. So whether it's a detox, whether it's a colonics, there's benefits to all of these things. There's a benefits to all of these modalities and stuff like that. So I would say, because the colon is one of your most important organs, because you have gut bacteria, and that gut bacteria is so important for disease prevention. And when you don't have that good bacteria in your body, a lot of individuals who are taking medications, because they're taking medications, antibiotics, they are eliminating a lot of those good, healthy gut bacteria. So when we're dealing with things that is cleansing the colon to help it restore itself, we essentially are providing our body with the tools that it needs to be able to deal with disease prevention. So everything goes back to disease prevention. I don't want to say now, I will say the colon is one of the most important organs in our body, if not the most important, because if your colon is not balanced, it will lead to other diseases. It will lead to digestive problems, obviously. I've read research where your colon has sort of its own mind, its own brain and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's so important. So that's why I think that it's important to do colonics and stuff like that. I personally have never done a colonics, but it's myself. But it's something that I definitely have kept in mind, and something that I definitely would like to do.
Okay. I mean, you definitely have a wealth of information. What do you see? What's your vision for the Quest Nutrition Network? What do you see going forward, and what are your plans for the future for your business?
I'm glad that you asked me that. There's a couple of initiatives that I got going on, and just a future Quest Nutrition Network, because I believe I mentioned it early. We do this on a threefold. We do this with the YouTube and the social media aspect, because essentially at the very core of Quest Nutrition Network and my life purpose is to disseminate information that will help individuals to live a better quality of life. If there's something that I could share with you as it pertains to sleep, as it pertains to meditation, as it pertains to stress management, as it pertains to nutrition and superfoods, if there's something that helps an individual live a better quality of life, then I feel as though my information and my purpose is being fulfilled. So we utilize that through the YouTube platform. We utilize and implement that through the platform of public speaking, because I'm also a public speaker. I speak at libraries, I speak at churches, as well as the one-on-ones, the one-on-one nutrition counseling sessions. So those are the areas where I can live my purpose and disseminate that information. Also, on April the 15th, I will be, there's going to be a health and a wellness fair at the Yes We Can Center in Westbury. And this is being sponsored by Fidelis. Fidelis Insurance is going to be health screening and stuff like that for individuals who's looking to get just they want to get their screening and stuff like that, get health check and stuff. Also, so yeah, that's going to be happening on April the 14th. In addition to the health screening, I'm going to be on a panel. There's going to be a panel of other health experts who will be answering certain questions that's related to our community. Very similar questions that you've asked, that'll be addressing these questions and stuff. So I'll be a part of that panel. It's going to be doctors and other nutritionists. There's about 6 people on the panel. And then we got somebody that's going to be moderating the panel discussion at the Yes We Can Center. So I'm definitely excited about that because it allows me again to disseminate this information that can be helpful to individuals. So there's going to be face painting for the kids. There's going to be prizes and refreshments and things like that. So anybody that's in the Westbury area or Nassau County area on April the 15th, it's on a Saturday between 11 and 3, definitely come out.
Maybe we can come down Showbtv with our cameras and
absolutely
and float around if that's okay.
Absolutely, come down. And yeah, we'll definitely get a chance to kick it and really find out, what we're doing and stuff. So again, this is being put together. It's sponsored by Fidelis and it's being organized by the African American Chamber of Commerce. I've been a part of the African American Chamber of Commerce. I've been a part of that for the past couple of months. And definitely something I want to talk with you about more as well, because it's a great network. And, another thing right there that, I am consistently working towards and stuff like that is building networks. So that's the future of Quest Nutrition Network, continuing to do my public speaking platforms, continuing to build networks, grow the business, and, continuing to do more YouTube and things like that. And another thing in regards to YouTube is I've got another initiative, another spin on what I've been doing with the YouTube. It's a little bit different, and I don't want to go too much into it, but I'm working right now with the individual who does my videos and does my editing and stuff like that. And he and I have been collaborating, and we've got a series that's coming up. I'm really excited about that because it's something I've never done before. And it's something that I feel a lot of people is going to will benefit from. So I think that we're finalizing some things, and hopefully I'll be able to come back on Showbtv
absolutely
and talk about it some more. So something I'm really looking forward to, and it's going to help a lot of people nutrition wise. So it's a lot of things in store for Quest Nutrition Network.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely a pleasure having you on the Showbtv podcast, my brother.
Yes.
Why don't you tell the Showbtv audience, just give them all your social media contacts and all your links and how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, if anybody wants to get in contact with me, it's email Quest Nutrition Network. It's Quest CNN. That's QUEST CNN, like the channel, Charlie, Nancy at gmail.com. The YouTube is Quest Nutrition, youtube.com/Quest Nutrition Network. Best ways to get in contact with me is the email. Check out and subscribe to the video, to my YouTube channel. And in addition to that, make sure that you tune in to Showbtv. Shamari is going to be doing some big things. As we said before, I've known this brother 20 plus years, so we go back, since high school days and stuff like that. It's a good brother. Happened to be, I had this brother at my baby shower and stuff like that, DJing and stuff like that. So, he was there playing the compound music, the Haitian compound music and stuff like that. So, so it was a good look. It was a good look. It was a good look. It was a good night. So definitely happy to be here on this couch and, just discussing things that's really important. And look forward to coming back and look forward to seeing more videos and more of what he's doing. So make sure that y'all subscribe to this channel because it's going to be a hell of a lot of great information that you're going to find out about. So, yeah. That's what it's all about.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Showbtv podcast. This is episode 1. I'm your host, Shamari B. This is our honored guest, Jabari Quest, owner of the Quest Nutrition Network. And I want you guys to stay tuned for upcoming videos. Subscribe to the Showbtv YouTube channel for exclusive content. Thanks again for tuning in. And thanks, my brother, for coming on.
Most definitely. It's a pleasure. And looking forward to coming back, brother.
Definitely. All right. Peace, y'all. We out.
All right.